Yeah, so Dedan Kimathi, whose name I'm speaking under today, is a revolutionary from the Kikuyu region of Kenya, and he was the leader of the Mau Mau, or the Land and Freedom Party, and currently our head monarch here, King Charles III, or some people call him King Charles III, is on a visit to Nairobi, and Dedan Kimathi's remains have not been returned back to the people of Kenya by the British. And the Dedan Kimathi and the Mau Mau Land and Freedom Party was one of the most kind of infamous revolutionary movements in the whole British Empire at the time, in the late 40s and into the 50s. And my own paternal grandfather was shoulder to shoulder with Dedan Kimathi, and Dedan Kimathi hid out his photo shop in Nairobi. And yeah, that's another whole chapter that's related to this. And the way that relates to this is that we are kind of in the, they call it the mother of all parliaments. I call it the mother of all colonial bullshit. But it's also, I'm sorry to use maternal markers in this way as well, but you get just the language. It's the mother of all white settler projects. This is the state in which we live. Every white settler state on the planet is a direct product of the British state or the English state or whatever you want to call it. Be it Australia, New Zealand, USA, Northern Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia, which are today Zambia and Zimbabwe, be it the White Settler Project in Kenya itself, USA obviously, many others, and also the State of Israel. And that's quite the point. Like, is Daesh representing Muslims? Is the BJP representing Hindus? Does Israel represent Jews? Does the British monarchy represent English people? No, it represents white supremacy and white settler colonialism. And as far as we understand it accurately for what it is, we can't get tripped up by these entrapment strategies that you're Islamophobic or you're anti-Jewish, etc. I'm just going to talk a few minutes about like our challenges in terms of what we discussed, of how we can actually directly and negatively disrupt the colonial war machine as it pertains to Palestine, and particularly Gaza at the moment, but more generally as well. While we struggle for the Palestinians in solidarity, we're also struggling for ourselves. If we successfully opposed the invasion of Iraq, that would empower the working class struggle in this country. And these are historical openings. There's so much potential, so much beauty that we could write and we could wage beauty, to quote the spoken word artist Mike Gonzalez. So these are historical openings. I've known Dan for over 20 years. I was part of Chain-Leader Youth Brigades at Sussex. We sent 12 delegations to Palestine. I was there during the height of the Intifada in March 2002. We made a significant contribution to the radicalization of the anti-war movement. These are openings for us. Iraq 2003, Afghanistan 2001, Lebanon 2006, the second Intifada, the NATO war of destruction against Libya in 2011, etc., etc. These are openings for us to develop not only solidarity with the Palestinian resistance, but also our own resistance, because that's our struggle. The struggle of the Palestinians and the Iraqis and the Libyans and the Kenyans, and etc., 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 is our struggle. It's an anti-colonial struggle. And Britain, where the sun never set on the empire, is very much a primary colonial state on the globe to be defeated. So how do we then engage in that with this framework? It's grassroots, grassroots, grassroots. It's very strange in this country that the only place that the left seems to be most scared of in general are the council estates, are actual communities. Who are the most radical class in this country? Where are they? How do you identify them? There's a very shorthand, easy way. Look at August 2011 uprising after the racist lynching by police of the killing of Mark Duggan. The young people, and not so young people, who conducted that uprising in August 2011 is the basis of the revolutionary movement in this country. That's the class, or what I call the race class analysis, because race and class operates simultaneously. And that's where I have a slight critique of the intersectional framework, but we can go into that. And also in the summer of 2020, the George Floyd Summit, the BLM Summit 2020, the Malcolm X movement participated in June the 13th, where we smashed up Tommy Robinson's crew when they tried to provocate against black-led youth around the colonial monuments. Remember they put that grey box on Churchill? A grey box on Churchill, how fitting, how apt, right? But they were scared when we were going to pull down the Churchill statue, and we wanted to. So Tommy Robinson's lot came out and said, you know, so we said, all right, we're back, let's go. And we smashed them up at the Battle of Trafalgar, and we smashed them up at the Battle of Waterloo on the same day. And that's the same demographic, the same race-class demographic that basically delivered August 2011. So the grassroots are really important, right? I'm going to take 2 more minutes and continue. Okay, sorry. Thanks. But also we are a radical community where we also want to engage with that grassroots, right? And also to be kind of connected and not separate to them as well. But what I'm saying is there's no alternative but to go to the council estates and the grassroots in the framework of the Black Panther Party Serve the People programs to empower, not third sector, not the charity sector, counter NGO actually, counter third sector, because this is about the independent empowerment of the grassroots on their terms, on their basis, funded by themselves, okay? Right, so now to discuss about what concretely right now in terms of Palestine solidarity. Direct action has to be accessible en masse. We have hundreds of thousands of young people coming into the solidarity movement for the first time right now, right? So they are ready to sacrifice actually, right? I'm not saying throw them all into things they're not ready for. I'm not suggesting that. We have to be responsible and accountable in that regards. Nonetheless, people are coming out. It's week 4 of the genocide. It took 3 weeks for any kind of sit-in at any train station. No campuses have been occupied. No transport infrastructure has been disrupted. Week 4 into the genocide. It took 3 weeks for anyone to say, okay, maybe we should sit down and protest. First it was at Waterloo and at Liverpool Street Station. But no commercial enterprises was impacted during that sit-down protest. No train services were negatively impacted. Now you could say, oh, it's a stage-by-stage process. We're just showing what's possible and then we go further, right? We don't need stages. Young people are ready, but they don't have the leadership, right? It's not 10, 15 years ago where from 9/11, who are we all listening to? Immortal Technique, Dead Prez, Lauryn Hill, Miss Dynamite, and then Akala, and then Loki, right? It was in the minds of the masses of youth, revolutionary advocacy, open calls for rebellion and uprising. That has not been the case for the last generation of the last 10 years. But they've come in and they want to radicalize, but they've got nowhere to go. Palestine Action is a very important contribution in that strategically, but it's limited as well because direct action has to be accessible en masse. While as well, small clandestine groups do direct operations, like the Pakistani brothers who did the rats in the McDonald's, right? Unfortunately, they got caught. They got a little bit too proud about it, posted on Instagram, I think. Right? But anyway, that's a good action, you know? It resonates with the Malcolm X movement London Black Rebs action against Byron Burger when they collaborated with UK Border Agency to entrap their workers. We put, I mean, you know, I respect all life, so forgive me, but we put tens of thousands of cockroaches and grasshoppers into the shops of Byron Burger and closed them down for the weekend. So I think we have to understand that we can go much further. And to finish on this, my reflection back on the Che Layla days, I was speaking to Julian Sarah. Che Layla came out of the University of Sussex campus. It was me and 3 friends. Then we got bigger and bigger on campus, and then we were in Ramallah under occupation. Some of you are too young, some of you might remember when Arafat was in his office, Shahada with the candle on, surrounded by Israeli tanks about to kill him. We were across the road. So we were under fire, getting shot out in ambulances, distributing food and medicine. We made the headlines in the papers, and we launched globally the Che Layla Youth Brigade, named after Che Guevara and Leila Khaled, the famous revolutionary Marxist Palestinian leader who did some hijackings in the 60s. You can check it out. No one got hurt, but her comrade got killed in one. Anyway, so we formed a radical militant anti-imperialist youth movement that became global and got adopted in the Palestinian youth camps, in the refugee camps. Our posters went up in all the camps in Palestine and Lebanon and Jordan. To finish up just on this contribution, on this point, when I was discussing with Julian Saurin, who was head of AFRAS, African Asia School, before they closed it down, I chatted to him last few weeks ago. I said, you know what, Julian? Looking back on it, it was an amazing group of young people. We were working with council estates in Brighton, sending delegations to Palestine, Vietnam, occupied Ireland. It was just like, it was incredible. However, looking back on it, Dan and Julian, we should have been even more radical. Why did we go to seminars and lectures when they were conducting wars of invasion, occupation of Afghanistan and Iraq? So I was like, what were we thinking? Why didn't we close all that down? Just keep occupying, saying, you want to conduct genocidal imperialist war? Well, there's no normal. Everything closes down. Yeah. Unless you make a statement and de-link from the war machine as an institution, as a university, no one's going to seminars, no one's going to lectures, this university is not open, no vehicle is coming in, no vehicle is going out. That's my reflection. And I think that's what I'd like to impart to you guys as well. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.